What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Seas Monroe Show. I am your host, and today we're here to talk about a couple movies, actually. I just watched Axel F, Despicable Me 4, and Maxxine. I'm going to talk about it right now, only on the Seas Monroe Show. Now, the reason why I'm going with these three films is because they're not big films. I guess Despicable Me 4 is a big film, but honestly, in my opinion, it just didn't hit that mark as far as a part 4 to a film. At this point, we're literally just milking this franchise. It's time to let it go, because now we have Gru having babies and the kids are still young, and then it's like it doesn't make any sense at this point. So I feel like they just need to trash this whole franchise. It's done for Despicable. I'm despicably upset at this damn movie. As far as Axel F, it's a Netflix film. I kind of understood what we were going to get out of this film. Honestly, it wasn't nothing that I was looking forward to seeing in the first place. But was it the worst Netflix film I've watched? No. There's a few out there that hit that mark. This one, it wasn't good, but it wasn't the worst thing I've seen, so I give them credit for that. And I'm going to dive in deeper into that in a minute. Maxxine, on the other hand, is actually the third film in the X trilogy. Now, let me tell you guys right now, I've seen Pearl, which was the prequel to X, and I've seen Maxxine, which was the sequel to X. I have not seen X yet. So I have to actually go and watch X soon. Like, I should have watched it before doing this, but it was like 3 movies coming out in one day, so I wanted to watch those 3 films first before I went into this. Maybe it would have been better if I watched X, but who the hell am I? I'm here already. It's too late, guys. You got what you got. We'll talk about X another time. But going into this film, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't watch X. So I was like, should I watch this before going into this film? It was an early premiere, so I didn't want to miss the chance. And then, honestly, I just felt like it was a standalone film. It worked very well by itself. Now, of course, there was little references here and there that I'm pretty sure were references, just how the camera scenes were set up. And, like the foreshadowing of the film, that's normally how they kind of tell you, oh, this is going to lead to something, or this is something that you should be paying attention to. Looking at those scenes, I was like, okay, that's probably from X, and this is probably why I should go watch this film. But other than that, I felt like it was a solid film. It was well shot. Ty West knows what he's doing with these films. Honestly, Pearl, I didn't enjoy it. This film, it's like the shots that he does. Like his cinematography, whoever his cinematographer is, like they do a great job just setting up the tone of that time. Like it's the late 70s, early 80s type deal, and I felt like it worked very well. I wouldn't consider it a horror movie. It's definitely a thriller, and I don't know if I would consider Pearl a horror movie either. But again, I guess horror has different levels, and I feel like I'm so numb to these horror movies nowadays that I haven't got to that point in my life yet, so I have to probably gauge that a different way. I probably need to look at those things in a different aspect, because what you might consider like scary, like Get Out, yes, it's defined under horror. And honestly, before the movie came out, it was defined under comedy because it was a Jordan Peele film. And I just feel like the producers just never watched the film. They just gave them the $3 million to make it. But that's neither here nor there. But it's a thriller. I don't see anything horror related, I guess, if that makes sense. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Let's point that out to me, right? But as far as Maxine, it's just the shots that were done in this film. I felt like it was great. I'm kind of contradicting myself because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was this Quentin Tarantino film. And it was shot for the 70s. It was about the... honestly, I don't even want to get into it because I forgot the name of the situation that happened back then in Hollywood. But I felt like it was in the same realm with Maxine. The reason being is there wasn't a lot going on But also, Maxxine was an hour 40 minutes versus Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was damn near 3 hours, maybe a little over 3 hours, and I just felt like at some point you should have cut the cord. Like we're doing too much here. So that's Maxxine. Going back to Despicable Me 4, I just feel like Universal has this IP that just they don't want to let go of because they have other IPs like Sing that don't do as well, and they don't feel that can make 16 Sing films and make billions of dollars at the box office off of each of them. And with the Despicable Me films, the first film struck gold because it was actually great storyline behind it. It was great storytelling behind it. It was actually things happening in this film. Versus now, it just seems like we're focused on the minions doing goofy things within the film, and it kind of gets redundant. And at this point, it's just like, all right, you guys are not even trying. It doesn't even make sense at this point. But you're trying to get that laugh, and it's random in these random spots. And I haven't taken my children to see it yet. So once I take them to see it, I want to see what their reaction is of it and just kind of gauge how they feel about the film. But it wasn't enjoyable at all to me. And normally I love cartoon films, so this just wasn't one of them. So all in all, I'm going to give Despicable Me a 3 out of 10. Reason being, it's watchable. I probably would never watch it again. And honestly, I didn't think. So let's rewind it. I was shown like the third act. It was a piece of the third act a few months ago. And of course, even then, I just felt like, okay, it might be more to this story. So it's going to be a lot better than what they showed us. And honestly, that part that they showed us in that film was probably the highlight of the film. So other than that, I don't think that movie was great. And I think they need to go ahead and stop it with that franchise. But we'll see. Let's see what it makes at the box office, because they need to generate some type of revenue to say, hey, we're going to make a Despicable Me 5 versus, all right, let's move on to the next big thing. Going back to Maxxine, I'm going to give Maxxine a 6 out of 10. It was watchable. It was enjoyable. I feel like it was good. It wasn't enjoyable. I wouldn't recommend the movie to anyone. If it's like, man, you guys should really go watch Maxxine, or man, it's a Thursday night. What are we doing? We're doing nothing. Let's throw on a movie. Let's watch Maxxine. It's not one of those. It just was well shot. The dialogue was there. The storyline was there. It's just, I don't know. It was just something missing in that film that I just couldn't put my finger on. I just felt like also it wasn't enough going on in that film to keep you intrigued throughout the film. But a 6 out of 10, again, is solid. It was watchable. The rewatchability, I feel like the rewatchability factor is there. But again, it's not something I'm going to recommend to anyone. Let's go back to Axel F. Axel F, again, this is Eddie Murphy. This is the legend, Eddie Murphy. So, of course, we should all go watch this film, support this film. We just have to understand that Eddie is not at that level anymore as far as these films go. Maybe, again, that can go into budgeting. That can go into a lot of other factors, like who's actually making these films, who's creating these storylines. Like, I just felt like the movie was just going. Like, they had a 10-minute opening scene, which I feel like they were trying to make better than what it should have been, and it just didn't work out so well. It reminded me of a Michael Jai White film, like those type of low budget films. I'm not sure what the budget was for this movie, but I'm pretty sure if it has Eddie Murphy in it, it has to be at least $100 million. It's just how this works. So unfortunately with Axel, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 out of 10. I don't want to watch it again. I wouldn't recommend anybody watching it at all, but it was a watchable film. It wasn't the worst, but it could have been a lot better than what they presented to us. It just, again, he's 60 at this point, still doing cop work. Is just unbelievable. Contradictory. I love Expendables. It's just, you know what world The Expendables is in versus Axel Foley. Let's be real here. All right. So tell me what you think, guys. I just gave you 3 films. One I would recommend watching. The other 2 were just toss-ups. You have Netflix, throw it on. Despicable Me, you have children, so I know you're going to go watch it. It's one of those type of situations, unfortunately, this week at the box office. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you going to go see these films this weekend? Are you watching Axel on Netflix this weekend? I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.